Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome to Worldwide Zoology. This is Iram Zafar. The topic which we will discuss today in this video tutorial is phylum Sarcomastigophora. Phylum Sarcomastigophora is the largest phyla of subkingdom Protozoa with over 18,000 described species. So if we talk about the characteristic of Sarcomastigophora, they are unicellular or colonial. They locomote by flagella, pseudopodia or maybe both. The mode of nutrition is usually autotrophic, saprozoic, or maybe heterotrophic as well. So the nucleus is a single type of nucleus. They reproduce by sexual reproduction usually, but asexual reproduction do occur. So let's discuss about the subphylum of Sarcomastigophora. The first subphylum of Sarcomastigophora is Mastigophora. So Mastigophora name is given because of the flagella, presence of flagella. They are also known as flagellates because they bear flagella for their locomotion. So basically, what does the Sarcomastigophora means? So this word is basically derived from Greek word in which sarco means fleshy, mastigo means whip, and phoros mean to bear. So they have fleshy whip to bear means they bear flagella. So that's why they are called Sarcomastigophora, and in common they are also known as flagellates. So subphylum Mastigophora have flagellar locomotion. Subphylum Mastigophora have two classes. One class is Phytomastigophora and the other class is Zoomastigophora. As the name indicates, Phytomastigophora, phyto means plant and Mastigophora means flagella to bear, and zoo means animal and Mastigophora means flagella to bear. Why they are called Phytomastigophora? They are known as Phytomastigophora because they have chlorophyll and they have autotrophic mode of nutrition and they are able to do photosynthesis. So members of the class Phytomastigophora possess chlorophyll and one or two flagella. Phytomastigophora produce a large proportion of the food in marine food web. Much of the oxygen in aquatic habitats comes from photosynthesis by these marine organisms. We will discuss one by one about the members of the class Phytomastigophora. So dinoflagellates are marine phytomastigophorans. Dinoflagellates have basically two flagella. One flagellum that wraps around the organism in a transverse groove means in a horizontal fashion. The primary action of this flagellum causes the organism to spin around on its axis just like a top. A second flagellum is a trailing flagellum that pushes the organism forward. So basically two flagella are present. One flagellum is for the spin movement and the other flagellum is for the forward movement of the organism. So dinoflagellates are basically photosynthetic. They bear chlorophyll, but in addition to chlorophyll, they also have a xanthophyll pigment that gives these organisms a golden brown color. One interesting fact about this dinoflagellate is that many genera of these dinoflagellates such as Gymnodinium have representatives that produce toxins that are very harmful not only for fishes but also for the human beings. The periodic blooms of these organisms are called red tides and they result in the fish kill, and they are also indirectly killing human when the consume tainted mollusks or fish may die. One interesting fact about these organisms is that the Bible reports that the first plague Moses visited upon the Egyptian was a blood red tides that caused the killing of the fish and also the fouling of the water. So indeed the Red Sea is probably named after these toxic dinoflagellate blooms. So next member of this class is Euglena. Euglena is a freshwater phytomastigophoran. Each chloroplast has a pyrenoid, a structure which synthesizes and stores polysaccharides. One interesting fact about Euglena is that if Euglena is cultured in dark, euglenoid feed by absorption and lose its green color, means that the Euglena converts its photosynthetic mode of nutrition into absorption absorption mode of nutrition and lose their green color. Some euglenoids lack chloroplast and are always heterotrophic. For example, Paradigma. So if we talk about the sensory structures of Euglena, then Euglena bears photoreceptor at the base of the flagellum. The Euglena photoreceptors are covered by a shield, that is a pigment shield known as stigma. Stigma is a structure that permits light to strike the photoreceptor from only one direction by the light. So Euglena orients and move in relation to a certain light source. So if we talk about the reproduction in euglenoid flagellates, so euglenoids are usually haploid organism and reproduce by longitudinal binary fission. Sexual reproduction in these species is unknown but do occur in these organisms. So the next member is Volvox. Volvox is a colonial flagellate consisting of up to 50,000 cells embedded in a spherical gelatinous matrix. Individual cells possess two flagella, which causes the colony to roll and turn gracefully through the water. Although most Volvox cells are relatively unspecialized, reproduction depends on certain specialized cells. That is a very interesting fact of this colonial organism. Asexual reproduction occurs in the spring and summer when the certain cells withdraw to the watery interior of the parental colony and form daughter colonies. When the parental colony dies, it ruptures and releases the daughter colonies. Volvox also bear sexual reproduction. Some species are dioecious, having separate sexes, while some species are monoecious, having both sexes in the same colony. So, when they reproduce sexually, they produce two kinds of gametes. One is macrogamete and the other is microgamete. Macrogamete is non-motile and is usually present in the colony, while the microgamete is smaller and bear the flagella to move from one side to the other side where the macrogamete is present. Macrogamete is usually large, filled with nutrient reserves. So microgamete forms a packet of flagellated cells that leaves the parental colony and swims to the colony containing the macrogametes. When macrogametes and microgamete fuse, this forms syngamy and they form a zygote. The most interesting fact of this species is that the zygotes bear a capsule or secrete a structure, a resistant wall around itself to save itself from the any harm. When they have the favorable condition, the colony is released from the protective zygotic capsule in the spring and is free to move, and they form another colony. So in this structure of Euglena, you can see the locomotory flagellum. It just work like a whip that locomote these organisms. So here at the base of the locomotory flagellum, here is the basal body which is known as kinetosomes, in which the flagellum are embedded. So here is the flagellar pocket pigment shield that is known as stigma that covers the photoreceptor of the euglenoid. So here it is also a rudimentary flagellum that is not longer work. So here it is also contractile vacuole, pyrenoids, chloroplast, nucleus, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, and pellicle. Pellicle, the layer just beneath the plasma membrane. So it is the basic structure of the Euglena. They are eukaryotic but photosynthetic organisms. So that's all for today. Allah Hafiz. Please share, subscribe and like my channel.